Now in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most essential players ahead of game week 1. All the players included in today's video are in my current draft, and I feel honestly you guys should have them in your team too. Now welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel, and if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as we're trying to hit 16,000 subscribers before the start of the season, and it's only possible with your guys' amazing support. Let's head into then my personal pick of the essential players. These are players I think should all be on your draft, or at least one variation of them. There's kind of two where it's like, you know, pick one or the other, kind of the vibe with it, to be honest, depending of course what team structure you're going for. But let's start off with Mohamed Salah and Cole Palmer, because what I've seen over the past 24 hours on the timeline is a lot of people looking to go without Salah and a lot of people looking to take out Cole Palmer. I'm going to explain to you why I think you should have both of these guys in. Let's start off first with Salah, and so many people are being reactionary off the back of his very, very poor performance in the Community Shield. He wasn't great. Let's just get that out there. He was terrible. He was really poor. He missed his penalty as well, but I don't think that means he's not going to be on penalties. He just was terrible. We've seen him miss penalties before. Obviously, Bournemouth, he did something very similar a few years ago where he just skied one over the bar. I wouldn't delve into it too much. I know people are talking about the position Frimpong was in, Salah being very wide. Again, it was kind of just a glorified pre-season game. That is all the Community Shield is. Don't kind of delve into it too much. It's only one game that you have to pretty much base that off, right? This we're talking about here is the highest scoring player from last season, a record-breaking highest scoring player, should I say, and one of the most consistent FPL and Premier League assets you could own within the game for probably the past 4 to 5 years. This is how good Mohamed Salah's been, and people are being very, very reactionary and taking him out after one bad game that wasn't even like a fully competitive game. Let's add that in there. So I think have a little bit of patience. He's going to be your captain come game week 1. He realistically is going to be the most captain player come game week 1. And I think he still should be in everybody's teams. Now, after a few games, especially once we've had that Burnley and Everton game in 4 and 5, if he's still starting to look a little bit ropey, then there is the point where we go, right, Salah's not worth the 14.5. We've got a good bank of data here. We've seen Liverpool play against a low block. We've seen him play against more aggressive teams where he's going to have a little bit more space, and it's still not working. Then we can come to our proper conclusion and go, right, he's not going to be worth it this year. But off the basis of just one pre-season friendly, glorified friendly, don't bank your whole team on that and rip apart all your drafts. Let's move on then to Cole Palmer as well. I think at the 10.5 million, if you've got Mohamed Salah, these two work exceptionally well in terms of the captaincy balance. And you can see that over the opening 3 game weeks. And that is the key. This is honestly one of the main tools I'm going to give you guys to work with this season, and one of the things I've been doing in a lot of my videos is head over to Fantasy Football Hub, go on their points tracker and look where people have their highest like peaks or points, right? And you can pretty much do this. So Salah in game week 1, he's got Bournemouth at home. That's where we're going to be captaining him. Then you're probably going to be looking at Palmer potentially for the next 2 games with West Ham and Fulham. Then you're back to Mohamed Salah in game week 4. Game week 5, you're also probably going to have Salah. Game week 6, you're probably going to be looking at Cole Palmer. So this is why I like the pair of these, right? Chelsea as well, their fixtures are just stupendous. And again, I think you're better starting with the higher priced assets and then coming down. Like if Palmer or Salah don't cook at the start of the season, it's a lot easier to drop into like a Vert, say if he starts the season on Marmoush, a Bruno Fernandez, for example, or maybe some of the forwards are doing well, maybe Gokrez hits the ground running. It's a lot easier to come down from the more expensive premium assets, so your Salahs, your Palmers, than of course to try and find that money and scatter it around and try and go back up to them, because you've got to pull from different avenues and you might have a lot of issues to sort within your side rather than of course focusing with this. So first off the bat, it is going to be Mohamed Salah and it is going to be Cole Palmer. I'm going to recommend to you guys that they stick in your side for game week 1. Next up is going to be potentially the variation pair. I think you've probably got to have either Watkins or João Pedro in your front line. You definitely could have both. That is a complete option. I'm looking at that as one of the drafts that I'm working with, but I think you've at least got to have one of these two strikers, because these two feel like the best options heading into game week 1 in my opinion. Watkins, we've spoke about in depth on this channel. You know I'm an absolute big fan of his. 16 goals, 8 assists for him last season. A tremendous campaign, to be honest, but pretty much just went under the radar how good his actual record was. I think obviously a lot of substitution appearances in there. Didn't, get everybody off their feet. A lot of people avoided him because of the minutes that he was kind of dicing around with. I think the minutes are, of course, going to be a lot more secure this season, unless Villa delve back into the transfer market before game week 1 and pick themselves up a striker. But I still think Watkins is going to be first choice, and you can pretty much leave him in there all the way up until around game week 8, game week 9. That's how good the Villa fixtures are. We all know that. He's been bagging for fun as well over the course of pre-season. He's about to play another game. I'm filming this on Sunday night, so of course, hopefully he makes it through that and is actually fit and available. I've probably jinxed it now. But yeah, hopefully he's fit and available for the start of the season. Scores again tonight. That would be absolutely exceptional to see. But again, with those great fixtures and the price point, again, it's a lot easier to come down to these 7.5s, whichever one looks good from Watkins, rather than trying to find that extra 1.5 to come up to Watkins. It's a lot more harder. You see kind of what I'm going with here. João Pedro as well. Looks like he's going to be the leading man for Chelsea. I know Delap got 2 today, but I still think he's going to be the leading man for that Chelsea lineup come game week 1. Again, another team with exceptional fixtures. A player that is coming into this season in red-hot form off the back of a great pre-season for Chelsea. And I do just think he looks like the main man right now for that Chelsea side. Obviously, his ridiculously high ownership as well works in both favours. Of course, if you haven't got him and he pops off, it's not going to be good. But if you go against him, he could be one of those players that if he doesn't work out, his price fluctuation could be very, very volatile. If a lot of people decide to sell him, there's maybe some early minutes as well. But I think, like I said, one of the two or both together is probably going to be the elite combination for the start of the season. Now, of course, with us getting closer and closer to the game week 1 deadline, I want you guys to go and get your team rated by the Fantasy Football Hub AI tool. It's a really, really good tool that obviously helps you identify which players maybe you're overvaluing a little bit and maybe other ones you need to potentially have a little bit of a think about, and those ones that, of course, are going to be essential and absolute locks within your team. Check out the link in the description. There's so many other great features as well behind the paywall that I used last season to help me achieve my top 10k finish, and I would happily recommend this website to you guys as well. Right, let's delve into our next player then, and it is going to be a controversial one. It's going to be Bruno Fernandes. Now, I've changed my mind over the course of pre-season. At the start, he was an avoid because I looked at the fixtures and I played it pretty much like I have last season and went, yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm really, really not seeing that as, a good jump-on point for Bruno Fernandes at 9 million. But the more and more I've watched over pre-season, we've gathered information, I've started to realise this guy could actually be a great point-scoring player. For example, in Manchester United's last pre-season game, where all Bruno did was pick up an assist against Fiorentina, he would have picked up 10 points. That's even before we got to potentially any bonus points that he could have got out of that game as well. That was the assist. That was him playing 60 minutes, a clean sheet, and 2 DEFCON points. And he managed to hit the 10-point threshold of what, just an assist, off the assist. And, he's coming away with 10 points. Start factoring in maybe some bonus in there as well. And you've got a guy that could regularly hit very, very good scores. Of course, there is going to be, some people saying, well, we don't know what formation United are going to be playing. There's a lot of transition with the attack. Of course, he's going to, maybe be in a little bit of a deeper role. That's fine. It means he's probably going to be picking up more DEFCON points. And that is what we're all there for. And one of the big reasons that I do really, really like Bruno Fernandes is that game week 3 is just very, very tricky, especially if you're going with the Salah and Palmer combination. Of course, if we go back to Cole Palmer, the fixture wasn't ideal. It wasn't bad. Fulham away, it's not a bad fixture, but you're looking at that one and thinking, Bruno Fernandes, Burnley at home. Now, that's a lot better of a fixture and one that I think I would like to target as well come the start of this season. So it gives you a really, really good captaincy option. Of course, Liverpool are playing Arsenal. And I think this pretty much just covers you off in terms of that. So I really, really like Bruno Fernandes, especially to give you a great captaincy option in game week 3 and, of course, in game week 7. I think, again, is one of the reasons why I think if you've not got him in your side, maybe reconsider it. take a little bit of a look and maybe do a little bit of tinkering to, of course, get him in your side. One of the other things as well I wanted to talk about, again, this is some fantastic work by FPL Tom Hadley, and it is, as you can see here, the midfielders, how often they hit 4 or more points with DEFCON involved last season. Bruno Fernandez, 55% of games, he hit 4 or more points. Could you imagine if he's doing that across the course of this season? It would be absolutely ridiculous, wouldn't it? And at 9 million, feels like excellent value for a player that you could, in theory, get 4 or more points from every other game. Like, it's honestly ridiculous, isn't it? So, yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes for me, I've changed my mind across the course of pre-season. I think the more and more information that we've had filter into us has made me realise he's such a fantastic player to be selecting ahead of game week 1 that I've currently got him in my team, and I think he is going to be in there for the start of the season. And finishing up today's video is going to be our final 2 players, and it is going to be the Nottingham Forest defence as kind of an overall unit. It is going to be Murillo and Milenkovic, though, we are going to be speaking about in, of course, more depth. I just think the fixtures that you've got at the start of the season, they're great. Forest are probably going to keep quite a lot of clean sheets over that time period for me. I think it's 5 clean sheets within 7 of their pre-season games, so they're already looking quite a strong defensive unit heading into the season. I know their second half of the season expected goals conceded numbers did drop off a little bit, but if they can get themselves back to where they were at the start of last season, they're going to be an absolutely sensational defence yet again this season. And what you get with these 2 guys is, of course, the DEFCON points. The points that everybody's talking about within the FPL community, but for very, very good reason, because they're going to change the game completely. If they were in there last year, Milenkovic would have been the highest scoring defender within the game. And if we take a look again at some fantastic work by FPL Tom Hadley, we can see these guys featuring yet again on this list. 60% of Milenkovic's games last season, he would have hit 4 or more DEFCONs. 60. That is absolutely ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. 60% of his games, he would have hit 4 or more points. That is honestly unreal and will start to add up over the course of the season. And that's pretty much why Milenkovic did finish as the top scoring defender within FPL if DEFCON was in there last year. We can also see Nico Williams on this list. Of course, they are rumours circulating that they are looking at Leif Davis, so that potentially puts me off a little bit of going for him. I know he comes in at that 0.5 million cheaper, but if they are looking at another left back, that does worry me a little bit. The other option, of course, Murillo on there as well. We're seeing 47% of the time he would have hit the 4 or more point threshold. Again, he would have been up there as one of the top scoring defenders within the game last year. I genuinely don't think people realise how overpowered DEFCON is going to be this season and how much it is going to contribute to a lot more players hitting big scores across the course of the season, and their totals just adding up over the course of the campaign. Like I said, make sure you're going and following Tom Hadley for his amazing stuff that he's posting on Twitter, especially the stuff with the DEFCON. It's been insane over the course of pre-season. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you're liking, commenting and subscribing, like I said, as we are trying to hit 16,000 subscribers before the start of the season.